Hello, listeners. Thanks for joining another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is a place where women can tune in to gain peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be themselves through the stories of other women. If you're enjoying these episodes so far, click the like, share, and subscribe button so that more women like you can be positively impacted by the stories in this podcast. My guest today is the founder of Neo Noor, a coaching and mentoring business dedicated to empowering corporate leaders to break through their barriers and fully embrace their true potential. Her journey into mastering the mind began at the age of 26 when she completed her Master NLP Practitioner certification. For the past decade, she has been deeply immersed in understanding human behaviour and how to become the best version of oneself. 5 years ago, after facing a redundancy and hitting rock bottom, my guest made a courageous and life-altering decision to rewrite her story. Today, she stands more confident than ever, living in her dream home in Dubai with her family, and believes with absolute certainty that every day holds the potential to be better than the last, embodying her life's motto, "Life happens for me, not to me." When she isn't helping others get on their path to realizing their full potential, my guest enjoys anything and everything that has to do with self-development. Her work literally is her passion, and she is always looking for ways to do better, be better, and think better. In her spare time, my guest enjoys creating art in whatever way she can with her kids or through pottery and intuitive art classes. She also loves fine dining and experiencing new foods and cultures where she can. My guest is a wife. She's a mother of two. She is Noona Nafousi. Welcome to the podcast, Noona.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to chat.
Me too. I want to start with all the questions, but first and foremost, what's it like living in Dubai? Because anyone I know that moves there never comes back.
For good reason. I love it. I absolutely love it here. It is, the weather's amazing. It's hot in the summer, but everything's AC. Got AC. It's just the most beautiful place to live. I really do absolutely love it, and I'm so honoured and proud to call this city my home. It's just wonderful.
What made you move there?
Love.
Of course. I mean, what a great place to move for love, let's be honest.
Yeah, I met my husband here on holiday, and we met in a shop, and he was selling like belts and bags, and I was in a shop with my mum, and then my sister came and said, "You have to come and see this guy. He's so your type. He's got the most beautiful smile I've ever seen." I went into the shop, and yeah, he even forgot to charge me for what I bought because we were so really flirting with each other. Went back home, and we meant to be flying back to the UK in about 3 days because my dad had a job there, so we were visiting. And so I said to my sister, like, I can't stop thinking about this guy. Should we go back to the shop? And she was like, okay. Now that we were going back, she opened the door of the taxi. It's like, are you really actually going back to meet this guy in a shop? And I was like, actually, do you know what? What am I doing? Shut the taxi door. And then I said, no, actually, I am going back. So I went back, and he was like felt like he was waiting for me outside the shop. And we met, flirted some more. I gave him my number, went back to the UK. He lost my number. And, but I felt like that was it. You know, when you meet someone, you've got this like warm, fuzzy feeling. And my dad had given us points to upgrade us to business. And then when we got to the airport, they'd upgraded us up to first class. And so everything just felt like, oh my God. But we're back to the UK. And then what had happened is he'd put my number on a counter and it had fallen between the cracks. So he was walking up and down the streets, asking people, like, have you seen this number? Only for a few days later, a cleaner said to him, are you the guy who's looking for the number? I found it behind the cracks. Found my number, called me, and a year later I moved to Dubai, literally to the month, and we were married. We got married.
That is such an amazing story. Like the poor guy pacing the streets looking for a piece of paper.
I know. And I knew he was going to call. I just absolutely knew it. And then, as we started talking, I realized he was 9 years younger than me. He was I was 33 and he was 24. And I just said to him, there is no way this is going to happen. I'm not going to move to London. Sorry, not going to move to Dubai. And then he lost his job and had to move back to Iran. So wasn't even in Dubai and couldn't get to Dubai. But he was just so confident. He was like, we're going to end up together and we're going to have 2 children. And I just thought, this guy is crazy. Just I have never ever met anyone like who'd been so sure. And I think he just really taught me what unconditional love really is. And yeah, been together 12 years now with 2 children.
Sounds like he also taught you how to see the future because the man already knew. I love that. Oh, I love that. What a beautiful story. So, my interest in you came from I'd seen a number of your reels, as I had mentioned when we first connected, and I loved just everything that you were talking about. It was almost like I knew you. And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to reach out. And so when you told me the last time that, a few years ago you were made redundant, you had to face that possibility of having to really reinvent yourself, I was really curious as to how you approached it. Because I know you've done a lot of self-development courses, and I don't know if you had already done all those self-development courses then, but how did you approach that moment? Because it's really hard when some people have been made redundant, especially for the first time.
Yeah, it was really hard. And it was also the way that I was made redundant. It was really unhonorable. I'd been working with the guy for 7 years. He demoted me, then made me redundant, but then told everyone in the team that I had left because the pressure was too much. And so but leading up to that, I had 2 years of really not really knowing who I was anymore. I had 2 children very close to each other and 2 children under 2, working full time. At the time, I was, the main breadwinner, and I just completely lost all confidence in myself. And so I guess my moment was when it was COVID, and I was lying on the bathroom floor, and my daughter walked in and saw me, and I just thought, no, something in me just thought, this is not my story. Absolutely not. And it was really that moment where I just remember just picking myself up from the bathroom floor and thought, right, let's let's change this. And I had been, I'd done NLP when I was 26, so I always interested in and knew that the brain could change us if we decided to. So I was really dabbling in learning about myself and all of that. And then I just thought, right, no. And I went to actually see a fortune teller, a tarot card, a guy who got tarot cards. And he said to me, you know, this is not how things are going to end for you. And you've come to see me today for me to tell you that you're going to be a coach. And I had been toying with the idea because I was in recruitment and I just thought, okay. And he said, look, you're going to be fine. And I think I just really needed to hear that. So when I left, there was a lady, she just popped into my mind. She was an intuitive coach. And I just listened to every single podcast that she had out there. When I left him, he said to me, do you know someone called Caroline? And I thought, no, I don't. And then her name was Caroline, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And she really, her name's Caroline Britton. She's amazing. If anyone wants to work with an incredible energy healer and intuitive coach, I could not afford to work with her. I put everything on the credit cards, and she really picked me up from the rubble. The work that she did was very much about changing how I see myself, how I see the world. She helped me tap back into my intuition. And yeah, I just slowly, bit by bit, put myself together.